Hello and welcome to my review of the full range of Space Marine Heroes Series 1. When I say the full range, I of course mean the range that I've been able to collect by purchasing 9 of them. I bought 9, I got 7 unique ones and 2 duplicates, which I gave away in November's Patreon giveaway. If you are a Patreon, you can support the channel for as little as $1 a month. Of course, the more you donate, the more support it gives to the channel, and it means that the prizes get bigger and bigger, which is awesome. So I have 7 of them right here. They first originated in Japan, I think last year. There were 13 over there. The ones missing is a flamer guy, guy running with a combat blade, heavy bolter guy, and then another Space Marine, I can't remember. But they also have a captain, which I didn't get. The captain and the plasma gun guy, I didn't get those in my collection. I may pick them up at some point, but I'm gonna probably have to buy quite a few more to get a chance of getting them. Or, as some people suggest, try and get them off eBay. However, you'd be surprised at the amount of money some people are asking for them, put it that way. Anyway, I thought I'd make this separate video just to talk about them a bit more, go through which ones are my favourites, and a look at the future and what more that they can do, and also a little look at the Space Marine Heroes Series 2 with all the Blood Angels Terminator that are already out in Japan. So if this is your first Space Marine Heroes video, I might as well just go through what happens. Essentially, each one of these is £5. They all look the same on the front of the box and on the rear, so there's no way of telling which character you're going to get. So it's a bit of a blind buy system, a bit of a gamble. These kind of things are all the rage in Japan, where you could get duplicates and you just sell your duplicates or trade them, a bit like cards in a way. But £5 for Space Marine, I didn't ever think that would happen. As I was a child, I was getting a box of Space Marines for about £10, and all of a sudden you've got individual Space Marines for £5 each. It is what it is. This is where we are in the hobby. I do think that they are really, really cool looking models though. It is possible, I suppose, with a normal tactical squad box set to try and replicate all of these, but you're going to be missing their unique bases. They're going to have the same power packs, quite generic, and they're going to have similar helmets too. But it is possible to try and create them to look like these heroes and just call them those heroes. But in game terms, they don't have any unique rules and things, which is what I was kind of hoping. I thought that they'd have like, okay, this is a Space Marine Heroes collection. You can build this super awesome tactical squad and they have this extra ability. I don't know. But they haven't decided to do that. I think they're missing a trick by not doing that. Because as it stands, they're just, generic Space Marines in slightly unique poses, with sort of names on them, as just as named characters, but they don't get any benefit as such by having their name. It's sort of similar to Death Watch. That's what I want to sort of say. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to go through each one in this rather long video, and I'm going to just go through a few of their points. I started off the 8 video series with Brother Vaniel. I really like this model. I love how he's hurling this grenade. I'll just zoom in now and again for these models, but Brother Vaniel, definitely one of my favourites. I like how he's got his bolt gun on the strap, and he's just detached a grenade from the grav belt or whatever, and he's got his bolt pistol too, and a unique power pack for his power armour. So a really nice looking Space Marine there. Then Brother Sergeant Sevastus, this is the sergeant of the set. He's got his chain sword, but also you get a grav pistol, which is pretty cool, pretty rare, really nice pose. Out of all of them, this is my favourite model that I've got. I do like the captain too, but out of the ones that I managed to grab, this guy is my favourite. I prefer this model over all of them in the collection as it stands. So awesome looking model, and he's got his chainsword and grav pistol. Then we've got Brother Remus, which is probably one of the boring poses. Yes, he's got this missile that's mid-flight, mid-launch, post-launch, but you can recreate this in a normal Devastator set, even with the kind of helmet and things. The only thing different is the sort of scenic base, which you can kind of recreate with cork if you want to try it that way. Anyway, that's Brother Remus. This is one of my, I think this is probably my second most favourite model out of all of them, which is Brother Garrus. He's got his bolt pistol out of the holster, nice little attention to detail. He's got his little token, he's got a nice little optic device onto his helmet, and also he's got this old school kind of bolter with a sickle magazine. Normally they're slightly different than these. They have an extra sort of part, but this is quite old school kind of model. Really like that he's, I say akimboing, he's not really. I like the fact that he's taking his bolt pistol out and using that instead of the bolt gun. Obviously something's up close and personal, or he's executing something, or looking down that scope. Brother Castor is probably one of the most boring, but at the same time probably the most iconic. Very similar to the pose of the miniature marine that I normally use in all the size comparisons. And speaking of which, I'd like to just take this opportunity to I'd just like to take this opportunity to really look at the sizes. As you can see there, even if I'm raising the base up to the same height as the scenery, you can see very clearly that the Space Marine Hero model is bigger than the mini Space Marine. This is the size that Space Marine should be, in my opinion. Of course, next to a Primaris Space Marine, they don't look as small anymore, and they work quite well. So that's a really good plus for this whole collection, is that you're going to have a group of Space Marines that don't look out of place next to the Primaris ones, if anything. So after Brother Castor, you've then got Brother Titus, which is probably my third favourite, because he's reloading, he's in an action pose, attention to detail goes to the spent magazine that he's just ejected out onto the floor. Really nice looking pose, quite stoic, quite upright position, and he's got his frag and crack grenades as well. So I really like that pose, like the bolt gun mid reload, and it's even got a little round in the chamber. So just by judging that, each one of these magazines has one round in, so maybe they have 16 shots maybe, I want to say, or possibly 10. Not an awful lot, but you have to go on the various websites to find out the amount of rounds. And then finally, Brother Guyan, again in like this action pose. He's, in my opinion, I think he's too further away from the front of the base, and he's aiming his gun a little bit low, but then again, when you think he is like 7+ foot tall, that kind of makes sense. Any enemies that he's up against, he's gonna have to aim a little bit lower, isn't he? But another decent pose. I like Brother Guyan too. And then what I'll also do is just talk about the other two models in the collection that I wasn't able to get, and that was the Captain, which I'm showing you a picture of right now. I've seen him up on eBay for about £35–40, which is quite expensive, but I do think he's a really cool model. He's got his iron halo and his cape, he's standing on that bit of scenery there, and I think he's got a plasma pistol. So a really cool model. Would like to get my hands on him at some point. The other model that I wasn't able to get was Brother Promethor, which was the hero with the plasma gun, I believe. So they were the two that I wasn't able to get. There were also another 4 that I wasn't able to get in Japan, which included the guy running with the combat blade, Space Marine with Auspex, a Space Marine with a flamer, and a Space Marine with a heavy bolter. So they were the other 4. I'm putting the pictures of them now, so you can see what they look like. It's a shame that we didn't get them. Hopefully Games Workshop will bundle them into this collection at some point and make a hoo-ha about it. If they don't, that's still fine with me, because at the end of the day, these were Japanese exclusives, and I would also think it's only right that another country gets some exclusives, because we get a lot of exclusives here in the UK. Anyway, I've had a lot of fun with this Space Marine Heroes series of videos, and with the models themselves. I think it's a fun idea of buying something and not knowing what's in the box. I seriously hope Games Workshop don't go down this route for every single miniature. I don't think they will. I think the majority of people like to know what they're buying before they spend the money. and long may that continue. But I think it was a fun little exercise and a bit of a surprise to see which Space Marine hero you got in a box. Anyway, what do you guys think of this little collection? Please do put it in the comments below. Thank you ever so much for joining me for this series. Thank you for watching. The Emperor protects.